Walt Krueger found serenity, as he's named his garden, after hauling tons of stones to frame his backyard in new levels of plant exploration. When his friend Renee Lake drafted his garden for an Austin Organic Gardeners tour, he met Elaine Dill, a fellow organic gardener.
We're both plantaholics, so it was just, perfect. So we go on trips together, we egg each other on to try new things, and Walt's got such an experimental area out here, lots of places to put things, so I can make him buy things that I like that he can try out here.
As an experienced gardener, Elaine recognized the work and innovation that Walt put into his once flat backyard.
Walt lived out here for a long time before he started gardening. It was mainly lawn, and when he decided to make a garden out of it, it had to be rocked in so that the deer wouldn't get in. And then he had envisioned the different layers going up the hill and hauled in 80 tons of rock. This is all since 2000. Hauled it all in by wheelbarrow, by hand, laid it all himself, did all the rock work. So I don't know how many linear feet of pathway he has back here, but it's a lot of rock and a lot of soil.
One of Walt's challenges was working mainly in shade.
Things that you read in the books, even for Central Texas, and they tell you it needs full sun or at least a half a day sun, and it just seems to have such a different texture or a different shape growing in the shade. It can be much more delicate. A number of the bauhinias, you can really see the texture of the limbs and how they kind of contort themselves in the shade more than they would in the sun, and just a very different effect.
With sensitive planting, Walt takes advantage of his pockets of sunlight or its penetrating shafts. Along with this stonework, he used multiple varieties of boxwood and other evergreens for permanent structure. Then he added perennial charm to renew the perspective in each season. Floppy plants also counterpoint the more stalwart guides, inviting another step to see what's going on. Walt varies the experience with strong players against softer textures. On each level, he added other incentives to linger. All paths lead to Walt's Japanese garden.
He's always been very interested in Zen gardening, and you can see that the Zen technique flows throughout the garden. He'll trim the trees up so that you really see the structural bones of each tree, and he plants things mainly in 3s or 5s, odd numbers for good energy flow. And it also, you can see it reflected in the plants. They just seem to be happy to grow in small groups. And the Japanese technique just seems to keep an order in the garden and helps that peaceful feeling that you see. It just gives you a sense of completeness.
Renee painted stones with messages to reflect Walt's intention.
I think Serenity is the perfect name for this garden. You could just live out here if you wanted to, and with the birds, and as long as you're not listening to the airplane noises, they seem to fade away even when you're in the garden. It's just very peaceful wherever you look. To come sit in Walt's garden for a few minutes, and you might come after work and you're feeling really stressed out through your commute, and you can just come sit back here and you just lose all your cares. It's just very peaceful, very beautiful. And the little Japanese signs just kind of remind you, just take a look around and let the rest of your day go.